Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. It is a little itty bitty desktop speaker from Edifier. It is their M60. And Edifier sent me this to review, and I've had it for months now. And honestly, I just forgot about it. The reason why is because once I got them in and I tested them out in my room and I put them on the clipboard to get the data for them, I gave them over to my daughter. I was like, here you go. You need some speakers in your room. So I gave them over to her. Odds are Edifier is going to tell me to keep this. So I'm just letting you guys know when manufacturers send me cheap stuff, it's not even worth their time or trouble for me to send it back. So odds are they're going to tell me to keep it. And since then, I've given it to my daughter. So having said all of that, what do I think about this? I think it's actually a really cool little speaker. How does it compare to the MR3 or the MR4? Well, I think in terms of sound quality, I personally would probably put it right between those two, where the MR3 is a better one, and then the MR4 is a little bit worse than that. But in terms of overall, how do I want to say this? I say that in terms of sound quality and looks and features, this to me is a lot cooler. And I think if you have teenagers, then they're probably going to dig this. And the reason why, the feel, the texture of the speaker is something I never talk about, by the way, but the feel and texture of the speaker is really neat. And the reason that I think that that factors in is because it's a small speaker designed to go on a desktop. This isn't something you set up next to your television and try to crank out tunes through. You're just not doing that. So you're going to set it on your desktop and you're going to enjoy the look and aesthetic of it. And then it's got some buttons on the top, and I'll show you a quick little video of it. These things illuminate and they're touch buttons. It just gives an extra cool factor, at least in my humble opinion, on why the speaker is so neat. Now, it's got a 1-inch dome tweeter on the front and then a 3-inch cone midwoofer as well. And on the back, you can see there's a port, there's a USB-C, there's an auxiliary input, and speaker output. So what you do is you take your power cord, you run it into here, and then you run a speaker output to your other speaker. And this provides the speaker output power to the passive speaker. And I'm not showing you both because the other one is just a box. There's no point in showing it to you. All right, that's enough fidgeting with this thing. Overall sound quality of the speaker. Now, if you set this thing up on stands, like I currently have my monitors, then it's probably going to sound a bit bright. But Edifier does have their Connect app that you can bring up and you can do some equalization with. Or you can use EQ on your computer and bring down the high frequency a little bit. Interesting aspect here is that these speakers do come with little stands that tilt them up about 15 degrees. So if they're sitting on your desk, they could be aimed more at your ears. If you do that and you want absolute sound quality, first of all, I'm going to assume that you're going to take the time to move your seat. You're going to take the time to move the speakers around, and you're going to try to put your head in the optimal position. But what I tend to find is actually if you go above the tweeter line. So let me give you an example. Normally I will say facing the speaker directly on axis, if I'm looking at it from the side, it's lined up with my ear. The tweeter will be lined up with my ear. In this case, what I would say is maybe put the tweeter a little bit below your ear, because what that will do is that will naturally bring down the high frequency a little bit without causing too much interference with the upper mid-range and treble crossover region. And when you do that, I think that's going to give you the best overall tonal balance without resorting to equalization. The bass output on this speaker gets you down to about 60 hertz if you're lucky. The F3 on this thing is in the upper 60 hertz region. We'll talk about that data shortly. So there's not going to be a lot of punch, low bass tactile energy. It's just not going to exist. But if you're looking for a small desktop speaker that will give you overall pleasant sound without being grating on your ears, then I think this is certainly a suitable option. Now what I'm going to do is play you a quick sound clip using pink noise as a reference and then the frequency response adjusted pink noise of this speaker. So what you're going to do is listen for the difference between the reference and the speaker version of this pink noise, and any differences you notice we're going to talk about. As you can see, the bass extends to about an F3 of 67 hertz, F10 of 57 hertz. What that means is it'll get down to around mid 60s and then it just falls off a cliff. So you're not going to have much bass output of this speaker, but you will have some upper kick drum area. That's about it. If you go into the mid range, it's reasonably neutral, but we start kicking up toward the mid range and the high frequency in overall level. But as you can see, you also start trending more and more upwards in overall tonal balance. And that's why I say that I think it's going to be better for you to sit above the tweeter line. I would not recommend going more than about 10 degrees above the tweeter. So if you take the tweeter and you point it right at your ear and then maybe tilt it down just a little bit, and you can play around with that on your desk. I don't know what your desk setup looks like, but I got crap all over the place. So I have the option of setting this camera lens cover. I've got this shutter, and then I've got some random copper wire. So I could play around with different things and figure out what makes the most sense as far as height and angle adjustment. But again, I would not recommend going more than about 10 degrees or so above that tweeter line, depending on how you have the speaker setting. And what that's going to do is that's going to take this high frequency and it's going to try to bring it down some organically. Now, the alternative is that you could use equalization. You could slap a high shelf filter and you could bring everything above about 600 hertz or so down by maybe 2 decibels, just depending on the cue. And when you do that, it'll make the speaker sound more neutral. Here's the CEA 2034 data set. It's a close speaker to you, so I don't really care about the spinorama. Spinorama would matter more in a room where the speaker is further away from you and they're reflective environments. In this case, the speaker's in the near field. And speaking of which, I would not put it further than arm's distance away from you if you're trying to get dynamic range and volume. If you're wanting dynamic range and volume at further distance than maybe about 2.5 feet or a meter or so, then you're probably going to want to step up to something a little bit large. Maybe even consider the Kali LP UNF speaker that I reviewed about a year and a half ago. Here is the estimated in-room response. Doesn't matter for a speaker in the near field. This is the horizontal contour plot. Now, I could skip this because it doesn't matter so much in the near field because there's not as much sidewall reflections. But in this case, I think it also still gives you a good idea of how much the spread of sound is going to be. And we see here that it's about plus or minus 60 degrees through the upper mid-range right here. So that's kind of the sweet spot for me. In terms of vertical orientation, I've been telling you, hey, don't go more than about 10 degrees above the tweeter line. Well, this data kind of backs that up, but it also says, hey, you can go above it even more. Now, the reason why I say I would not go above 10, is because this dip right through here really sucks out a lot of energy. Are you going to be able to hear that? No, not so much. But once you get above about 10 degrees, what we start to see is that the frequency response really starts to alter, and to the point where I think that it's going to be more problematic. You can use the little stands that these speakers come with, set them on that, and then adjust your seating or adjust the speakers as needed. Certainly, you can see that if you try to go below that tweeter level, there's a big suck out in the crossover region around 2, 3, 4 kilohertz. Definitely do not sit below the tweeter level. Harmonic distortion at 76 decibels. And then at 86 decibels. And if you want to get crazy and try to turn it up to 96 decibels, this is the distortion that you're going to get. But realistically, you are not going to actually get 96 decibels out of this speaker. You're going to wind up running into significant limiting of the speaker. So for those of you who don't know, real quick crash course. So when you have a little speaker like this, and it's got a little woofer and a little tweeter, and it's got DSP and amplification on board, what manufacturers will do is they'll add in some limiting. And that will keep the woofer and the tweeters from getting overpowered and frying, and then you trying to send it in to claim warranty issues. It just makes sense, right? Otherwise, you would blow up one of these things. From my data, I'm going to say that the maximum SPL is probably going to be around 86 to 90 decibels at 1 meter. And for a pair of these sitting on a desk, that'll roughly give you in the low 90 decibel region. Now, if we look at multi-tone distortion, which is closer to music than harmonic distortion sweeps are, then we see that at around 78 to 88 decibels is going to be kind of the max for this thing without it sounding really grainy and compressed. That does it for this review of the Edifier M60. There's not a lot to say about a desktop speaker. At $170, I think it's a reasonable buy. It gives you pretty good overall tonal balance, and there's a few quirks here and there, but follow my recommendations, you'll be just fine. The output is limited, but we expect that. And we do have a lot of different input options that make connecting to your desktop system really easy. And it also looks really darn cool. There's also a walnut version that I think looks even better, but this white one my 14-year-old daughter likes. So that's a good sign for you fellow dads and moms out there. And with all that said, I will talk to y'all later. Take care. Peace.